Welcome to WNL Sports Weekly. I'm your host, Jeremy Franklin. This week, we'll speak with women's swimming coach Kami Gardner, baseball captain Terrence McKelvey, and golf captain Beau Allen. But first, here's a look back at last weekend in Washington and Lee sports. The men's and women's swimming teams competed at the NCAA Division III Championships in Minneapolis. First-year Chris Washnock earned honorable mention All-America honors in the 400 IM and 200 backstroke, while the men's 400 freestyle relay squad also finished with honorable mention status. On the women's side, senior Lindsey Strachan earned honorable mention honors in the 200 backstroke. In women's tennis, second-ranked Washington and Lee defeated number 3 Carnegie Mellon 6-3 in Lexington on Saturday. First-year Ellen Yateman and senior Meg Spolita won at number 2 and 6 singles respectively and combined to take the match at number 2 doubles. The men's tennis team knocked off ODAC rival Hampton-Sydney 7-2 on Friday before falling 8-1 to 16th-ranked Carnegie Mellon on Saturday. The Generals swept a baseball doubleheader from Roanoke at Captain Dick Smith Field. In Game 1, sophomore Anthony Cardona homered and drove in 3 runs, and junior Chuck Davidson pitched 6 innings of shutout ball as WNL took a 5-3 decision. Senior Brendan Clark went 7 strong innings in the second game, a 6-0 Generals win. Junior Meredith Freeman had 4 goals and an assist, and sophomore Catherine Farrer made 10 saves as the women's lacrosse team downed Virginia Wesleyan 13-7 at home on Saturday. In men's lacrosse later that afternoon, 13 different Generals scored as Washington and Lee flew by Greensboro 18-9. The track and field teams opened the outdoor season at Saturday's Lynchburg Invitational. The men and women combined for 16 top 5 marks, and senior Grace Andrews set a school record in the hammer throw. And the golf team began its spring season by placing 12th of 27 teams at the Jekyll Island Collegiate in Georgia. Coming up next, I'll be joined by women's swimming coach Kami Gardner. Joined now by women's swimming coach Kami Gardner. Kami, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Coach, you challenged your team with one of the toughest schedules in program history this season. How pleased were you with the way the Generals responded?
I was incredibly pleased. To have a hard week of training and then a tough competition at the end of the week is one thing, but to have to do it week in and week out, they definitely made it an exciting end season for us.
Last month, Washington and Lee won its 19th ODAC Women's Swimming Championship. What were the keys for the Generals to be able to continue their success against the conference?
I think the main ingredient to our success was our team atmosphere and team camaraderie. They really had to pull together on a weekly basis for the in-season meet, so when we came to the conference championships, they were ready to take on the roles that they had established for each other and really embrace them.
You'll lose 3 very talented swimmers in your captains, Lindsey Strachan, who qualified for the national meet, along with Julianne Miata and Susan Mahoney. What have those players meant to you and your program during your first 2 years as coach?
You know, it's really hard to put into words what those 3 girls have done for this program, and for me as a first-year coach last year. Incredible leaders both in and out of the pool, but really their contributions to this program are going to far outlast their tenure swimming.
What are your long-term goals for Washington and Lee swimming, both within the ODAC and on the national level?
Well, obviously we'd like to continue to be a dominant force at the ODAC level, and we'd like to make a presence on the national scene on a regular basis, and I think we have the ability to do that.
Well, Coach, we thank you for joining us here, and congratulations on another great season.
Thank you.
With me now is Terrence McKelvey, senior baseball captain from East Islip, New York. Terrence, welcome to the show.
How you doing, Jeremy?
Doing well, thank you. Terrence, you can hit for average, you hit for power, you can run, you can field, and you can throw, so I think it would be fair to call you a 5-tool player, to borrow a term from the baseball lexicon. How have you been able to develop all of these different skills on the baseball diamond?
Well, baseball developing skills depends a lot on repetition. You take enough reps, eventually you'll be able to develop the skills you need. Of course, it helps in the field to have speed, which I guess you could say I have, but hitting-wise, if you develop repetition, then you'll be able to develop the skills you need to play the game.
Looking back on your career, was competing in Division III athletics the experience you had hoped for?
Yeah, it was everything I could have hoped for and more. You make a lot of great friends by playing on the teams, and the competition is really good at our level. We play in a very good conference, a lot of good teams that I would say it's everything I could have hoped for.
What makes the 2009 version of the Generals different from any team you might have competed with before?
Yeah, this is a different team than any team I've ever played on. Last in the years past, we've kind of sat around and wait for our offense to do the job. This year, our pitching and our defense is much better. Our team ERA is a lot lower. We've made a lot fewer errors than we have in the past, so To be in the lineup, it feels good to be able to rely on those things and not have to feel like you need to score 10 to 15 runs every game to win.
As you just noted, things seem to be coming together very nicely in just about every department for Washington and Lee. How do the Generals continue this very tough stretch during spring break and potentially into another ODAC tournament?
Well, Jeremy, I would say we just have to keep doing the things we've been doing. The work ethic on the team is a lot better than I've seen in the past. Everyone seems to know what they have to do to win, and it's just about playing in every aspect of the game, pitching, defense, hitting. They all have to be there in order for you to win. So just about keeping up the things we've been doing and trying to improve every day.
Well, Terrence, we thank you for joining us here, and we wish you luck the rest of the season.
Thank you, Jeremy.
With me now is Beau Allen, senior golf captain from Atlanta. Beau, welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for having me, Jeremy. Appreciate it.
Beau, what factors did you consider when choosing to come to Washington and Lee and to compete in intercollegiate athletics?
Well, when I was doing my college search, I was looking at the school first and golf second, and W&L just stood out to me as a fantastic place, and I loved all the great qualities, the honor system, the speaking tradition, the great community we have here, and golf was a big part of my high school career. And I got to talking to Coach Colleton, who's just been a great resource for me while I've been here, and we kind of clicked, and the great courses that we have here and the tournaments and the success that the W&L program has had really drew me in, and I've just had a blast my time here. So,
looking outside of Washington and Lee for a moment, who is your favorite athlete and why?
Well, I guess from an early age, I had always heard about Arnold Palmer, and he just had such a great career and just such a great human being, so friendly to everyone. And I actually got a chance to meet him this past summer at the United States Open, so that was a real treat. And I guess I've just always, watched his success, and he's done so well, and that's something that I can aspire to be. I'm not going to go and be a professional golfer, but he treats people the right way, and he has always had a long impact on me. So.
Getting back to Washington and Lee, what will the Generals need to do to repeat as ODAC champions this spring?
Well, we've got a great team this season. Nathaniel James, who just had an outstanding career, graduated last year, but we've got some seniors this year and some great juniors, and we've performed well. We had a good top 10 finish, I believe, maybe 11th or 12th at Jekyll Island last weekend, which boosted our rankings in GolfStat, and we're heading down to Jacksonville this afternoon actually to compete in the Camp Lejeune tournament. So strong performance there will set us up nicely for Emory, which is coming up in a couple weeks, and then ODACs. And if we play well at ODACs, we'll head on to NCAA. So it should be a great end of the season.
Well, Beau, we thank you for joining us, and we wish you luck this weekend and the rest of the season.
Great. Thanks so much for having me, Jeremy. Appreciate it.
Here's a look ahead at the weekend in Washington and Lee sports. The women's tennis team will compete in the Fab 5 tournament on the campus of Emory University. The Generals will take on Middlebury, DePaul, and top-ranked Williams in Atlanta, and also have an ODAC match scheduled for Sunday at home against Emory and Henry. Men's tennis hosts Averett on Friday and Swarthmore on Sunday. The track and field teams join with their friends across town to host the W&L VMI Carnival on Friday and Saturday. Washington and Lee visits Roanoke for a rematch of last year's ODAC Women's Lacrosse Championship game, which the Generals won. WLUR will have a live broadcast of the contest starting at 12:50 p.m. Men's lacrosse kicks off conference play at Virginia Wesleyan, while baseball travels to Guilford for an ODAC doubleheader. And the W&L golf team heads to Jacksonville, North Carolina for the Marine Federal Credit Union Intercollegiate Tournament. For W&L Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.